decisions.
All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. We'd love you to support this show. Please like, follow, and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Your likes and subscription helps us to grow and attract interviews and content. So please retweet and share our posts. Your contributions are appreciated. All right, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill. We've got Marcus Almighty, Mark, and St. Louis Kiss, Lonnie.
What's up?
There is no voice of reason here today, so we'll go straight to Lonnie with the Bengals wins report.
What wins report? We haven't won a game in 3 weeks.
Wins.
Oh, wins. He said wins. You're toying with me, Julian.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not a sports podcast, so you're just going to have to wrap that misery up inside and cry silently to and forth from work. But oh my God, if there's, at least your team scoring 38 points, trying to watch the Niners play in the snow the other day was, kind of entertaining. So there we go.
Offense. That's about it.
Yeah. All right. So, this week we've got a few things to get into, but Mark's got something he's just got to get off his chest first before we start.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for giving me the floor. I just want to say really quickly that for those of you who follow me on my YouTube channel, you are aware that I've started the vinyl pre-order for the latest Project Gemini album, Canada Stories and Legends. Those of you who have already bought or put in your pre-order, I thank you very much. It's going very well, much quicker than I thought it was going to go initially. We're over half sold on the vinyl already, so we're on the downhill now to get rid of the rest of the copies. So hopefully, if you haven't got your copy yet of the album, tomorrow might be a perfect day. Tomorrow is Bandcamp Friday. Everything that is bought that day goes directly to the artist. Bandcamp doesn't take anything as a cut for themselves. So it's an ideal time to do it. So if you are interested, just go to Bandcamp and look for Project Gemini, spelled PROJEKTGEMINEY, like the I, and then you'll find me there.
You should throw that into the chat window. I want to thank Ronnie Parker, Austin Newland, John Janik, another Austin Newland. There's two of him, and another Ronnie Parker. Oh, and the missus, and G Chup. Thanks for joining us live today. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. So we took the week off last week, obviously, with it being the American Thanksgiving, not the Canadian one. Because I'm sure we give thanks for different things in different places. I had a great turkey. I hope everyone had a really good Thanksgiving. It is my favorite holiday of the year because it is just about being grateful and food. Not in that order. It's having food and then being grateful. So it was all really good. Obviously got 3 dinners out of that bird this year, and that's always good. I actually even had leftover gravy, which was nuts. So there we go. Enough about food because it's nearly dinner time. Thanks to everyone also who reached out to me today about the tsunami alert off the West Coast. There was a 7.0 earthquake up north from here. I didn't feel it. There was a 5 afterwards, but not often we get a tsunami alert, but nothing did come of it. So better safe than sorry. And it got a pretty good shaking up north. But down here in San Francisco, you're not going to shake the dirt off the trees that easy. So there we go. This week, there's a couple of things just to hit on before we get into the topic of a year after the end of the end. First and foremost, Gene Simmons Band has announced the first 4 dates of a 2025 tour in the United States of America, people. May the 3rd, Beaver Dam, Kentucky, already on sale. May the 5th, Red Bank, New Jersey. 22nd of May, Dallas, Texas. 24th of May, Houston, Texas. And that is just what they have announced so far. There are going to be other shows added. And when they are added, you will be informed of them. And there are going to be meet and greet opportunities for all sorts of things that are being worked on with details. So genesimmons.com. will be the place to find out all of that information firsthand from the man and his team. And he's got a really good team behind him there. There's also been a video message from Gene and Paul. Did either of you check that out?
No, I didn't.
I saw it. It was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, first, what was your primary takeaway from it, Lonnie?
It was. I thought it was well done. It was, it's first time them really. It's them acknowledging, what it took place a year ago and the significance of it. And it just made me look back with some fond memories of that whole experience of when it was me in front of a TV. But I mean, for Julian, you get to experience it firsthand. So, but even for the rest of us in attendance, I think we all kind of came together as a community that weekend, just to celebrate not only the band, but just the band's existence for 50 years. It was a very well done video.
Yeah, I agree. And it was great to see them, putting out a video together. They weren't in the same place at the same time. It was good to see them. It was like a visit from, not necessarily old friends, but, people who surprise you with here's a message from Gene and Paul. As we approached, back, when it came out, we hadn't quite hit the year mark for, since the end of the end. It was just a reminder that time has ticked on as well, and to be appreciative of the things that we do get to experience, even if they, don't quite turn out how we dreamed about in Fantasyland. And reality and fantasy are two very different things, and that's one of the things that came through for me. And also, just that clock is ticking. I hope both of those guys and all of the originals and all of the members of the band are, very serene now that it's kind of done and over. Bruce, I think Eric are out in Florida for the cancer event this weekend, and there is I think a acoustic performance of Todd Kearns with Bruce doing Rock Bottom now out on video for people to see. I've heard that a couple of other people have been seen in the area who are not announced as guests, so who knows what might go down for that. So again, life is continuing. Events are slowly starting. I mean, I think this is the first major event in the States. I know the Gene Simmons band, really kind of fed itself for European fans to get together, during the summer. But it's kind of the first major thing that I can think of happening in the States this year. And it's just a shame that it's just so late in the year and so close to, Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays.
Oh, one thing that might be worth mentioning, I don't know if you were planning on this, Julian, but I believe that a few days ago, a very valued member of the KISS community passed away that was involved with Peter Criss, I believe.
Well,
remember?
There have been a couple of KISS fans who have passed away recently.
Okay, well,
Vinny Gonzalez, who is the legendary KISS fan, who I actually got to hang out with finally in Charlotte last year or the year before. I'm losing track now of the years.
That's what I'm probably thinking of because I saw a picture.
He was just a really awesome guy. He was the diehard. He was there basically from New Year's Eve '73 until the end of the road, because he was at the end of the road. I didn't get to see him there. Just an amazing guy, an amazing collector. You can read about him in various places to get his story. Ken Sharp did an interview with him for Goldmine. Finally got to feature him in his own right. And I can't find my copy of that Goldmine because I would have posted it. Also, another very big fan and a guy I would have seen this week at Aerosmith shows, had those not been canceled. Tom Higgins, who was a member of Wicked and Classic 78.
Oh, yes.
Apparently passed away as well. So it's a reminder, that's the end of the road is nearer for many, all too many, than it may appear. And just shocking. I mean, Vinny had been sick, so very sad. Thanks for, reminding me on that, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's get into some of the end of the road recaps. Kiss has celebrated the end of the road. They put up an end of the road official last show recap video, and you know what? I often bag on Kiss Online and Kiss's online presence, but I think they got this absolutely right. Gene and Paul with their message, Kiss Online with a nice recap video. I'm not going to critique any production value or anything because it is the content to me that matters. Lonnie, did you get to check out that video? And if so, what were your thoughts?
That's what I was talking about. I might have been mixed up with what you were talking about at the start of the show.
All right, well, just repeat what you said earlier.
So yes, it was great to see relive that last weekend.
Nice.
I don't know what other video you're talking about, Julia.
You didn't see the video message from Gene and Paul?
No, I didn't see it either.
I thought you were talking about that 20-minute thing that they put out.
No, you guys. All right. Well, you got some homework to do.
Sorry.
That's all right. You're here. You can't disappoint me by being present. Mark, which one of these videos did you see? The 20-minute one, which we are now talking about, with lots of fire, kabooms, and.
Actually, I will disappoint you twice because I didn't see this either. But I'm always kind of surprised that I do miss these things because I'm the one that seems to go into Kiss Online store all the time to see if anything might just pop up on sale for shirts or something like that. And the fact that I didn't see this is kind of surprising. Is it on Kiss? Is it on Kiss World or where is it? This is the thing that I have trouble with.
I don't know where to find these things. People posted on the FAQ, thankfully.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
They tweeted it the other morning.
I don't follow Kiss I'm not on Twitter anymore. And I've cut back my social media way back, on Facebook as well, pruning stuff out. So I only see stuff basically if people share it in a chat on Facebook or post it on the FAQ. So I'm not going to Blue Sky or whatever that other shit is. I just don't have time for that. So.
No, I didn't see it. I mean, I can imagine if it's a recap of the last year's tour, there's probably lots of great things they could show, all kinds of different concert events.
Yeah, it is. There's lots of fire. There's lots of song segments from the set. It's just a nice, recap for it. But here we are a year later. Where are you as a Kiss fan, Mark? Where do you sit now in terms of your outlook, your look back over the past year, your look at the end of the road and reappraising it now, and where you are and where you want to be going forward?
I find that a few things have kind of changed. I still find myself interested in the band. Obviously, I wouldn't be here doing this if I wasn't. But I think that I find myself a little bit more at peace with the band, and I'll explain that. What I mean by that is that there was a time period throughout their career, especially near the end, where sometimes Gene would say stupid things and you get annoyed with them, or they would do things and there'd be all kinds of chitter chatter about it. They screwed up again live with the click tracks and it was off, and like all these things. Now that all that stuff is gone and there's no more big hassles about those kind of things, I find that I'm a lot more at peace at looking through some of their things online, some of the posts, looking back at things for, buying things and just listening to their albums. Sometimes there was a point almost where I was so, not frustrated, just not a good word, but I was sort of annoyed by just the general thing that was going on with them, that sometimes my interest was not as high, but I find I'm pretty interested still. I pulled out a couple of CDs the other day in the car. I put my, the greatest hits, the gold edition in there in the car and listened to that. And I'm still looking for shirts all the time. As you can see, I'm always wearing a Kiss shirt at some time or another. So my interest is still there. It was interesting. There was a post put up the other day where he had this multiple choice thing where you could say, do you want Kiss to make another record? Yay or nay? If they did, do you want just original people but only all the people involved that are still alive? Like this kind of multiple choice thing. And I find myself interested in those kind of things now again, where maybe a half a year ago or even longer, I might not have been so interested in this stuff. I think that my interest is there now, mainly because I want to see what's happening. Because I keep seeing these posts from Kiss say the new era in 2026 or whatever it is and stuff. And it's always keeping me wondering, what is this new thing going to comprise of? I know we're going to get these avatars, but there's got to be much more to it, I hope, than that, right? So,
well, if you listen to Gene and Paul's message, Mark.
Yes, maybe. Oh, it's just like Kiss, though, to reveal things clearly to us, I'm sure, in those videos. They're always so crystal clear on what's to come. So, but I am looking forward to something, because it seems kind of odd living in a world where Kiss are no longer touring anymore. And it's sort of quiet. I was so used to hearing something, a tour's coming up, or this is coming up, or there's a cruise coming up, and people complaining they didn't play these songs on the cruise. There's always something to look forward to, and it seems like it's pretty quiet on that end now.
Lonnie, Mark touched on something that I want to ask you as you answer those same questions about negative energy. That when they were an active, ongoing band, there was a lot more kind of negativity all over the place. People picking apart things in a nasty and cruel sense, rather than critiquing it and breaking it down, which we kind of do. Do you think there's less negative energy in the room now, so to speak? And does it affect where you are?
Yeah, I think there's less negative energy in the room. I mean, we're not having to hide behind the elephant in the room that we're getting assistance on stage anymore. There's not that talk every morning after they played a live show. And to echo what Mark was saying, I also think I'm more at peace with them than I was a year ago this time too, because they were touring. I had just seen them here, and it was great, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it, but at the same time, I knew that, okay, what I'm not necessarily what I'm looking at, but what I'm hearing isn't all being generated by what I'm watching.
Yeah.
And I was aware of that. And maybe not everybody in attendance is aware of that, but I'm aware of it. And it's just kind of, it kind of takes a little bit away from it. But now that it's over, and there's not that constant chirping going on anymore. I've kind of moved past that, and I'm able to appreciate the band for what they are and what they have meant to me throughout my life and throughout the duration of the band. And obviously I still find myself interested. I'm here most weeks when I can be, and I still listen to the band. I still, watch whatever I can, and pull out certain albums and tracks or rarities, whatever, when I want to. And my wife and I were on a road trip last weekend, and we just had like a random just shuffle on in the car as we were driving, and Wouldn't You Like to Know Me came on, and I was like, oh, so good. And I'm like kind of punching her as we're going, and having a good time, like singing along with the track, and it's over, and I'm like, God, that's so damn good, Becky. And she's just like, but it's like I hadn't like listened to just Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, specifically in a while. And just like the appreciation of how good some of that shit is, just it's never gonna get old. It's always gonna be great shit. And something like that, I think I'll always experience, not just a year after the last End of the Road tour, but I think many years down the road, I can see myself having that same kind of experience and always appreciating the band for what they've meant to me and how good that music really freaking is.
A friend messaged me yesterday that they were listening to the Best of the Solo albums re-release, and they had never heard the Take Me Away version with the fade out versus the hard ending on that, and it was a new discovery to them. And they were I was like, so what? That's like old news, but to someone it was new. It was like, someone gets excited about that.
Cool. What's that? Yeah.
Here we are a year later, and I was there. And I know when we did the podcast after the fact, I had moments of rage, over the damn commercial. But what was so funny yesterday when I watched that 20-minute recap? Is they had that damn commercial at the end of it. I could actually see it properly this time. I didn't get upset by it. I wasn't confused by it at the time, other than, kind of, really, guys, this is what you're pitching at us at the end of the road, a fucking commercial. But I'm at peace with that because I've come around to the thinking that ending last year was the most Kiss-like ending one could have. An ad for something that's half-baked, not ready to go, and may or may not appear 3 years down the road. I mean, that is just so freaking Kiss. It's perfect. This is not a band that values its legacy. This is not a band that has sentimentality. This is not a band that puts any value on anything that can't be sold. And only what they sell is what is important in the moment. So I'm at peace with that. This year, though, has been about absence. That there haven't been the off the soundboards coming every quarter. Instead, there's only been the anniversary edition vinyls, which, by the way, that Hotter Than Hell with its complete reconstruction cover looks absolutely spectacular and stunning. So there's only been that. There's not been any box sets where there should have been for the 50th anniversary of the debut album. They have now missed the boat on the most important anniversary, the debut.
100%.
And I'm sad at that. I'm not angry. I'm just very sad at yet another missed opportunity, but I understand the context of it happening as they, kind of pass ownership on. They're passing the baton on. So I'm at peace with that as well. I think as Kiss fans, because we've had such a great run over the past 5 years, concerts, even through COVID and all that, the Off the Soundboard series, the Destroyer Super Deluxe, the Creatures of the Night Super Deluxe, all these things, we've been spoiled. And all of a sudden it was cut off. And it feels now like I'm just getting over with the Jones. The detox blue has kind of ended.
The one thing I'm kind of curious about is you said that we've been spoiled, but on one hand, and I'm talking about, let's say, the box sets as an example. Do you really feel that we were spoiled? Because I look at some of the other bands around me that I like and I collect. And we can look back at the Metallica boxes. We could look now, even for example, like Rush. They're now announcing they're going to be doing another box set again of another record coming up. I know the last one was Signals, I believe. I'm not sure which one they're going to be doing next, but they said there's something in the works next coming up. But like a band like Rush, who gave up their rights to their stuff, so I think it's Rounder Records or somebody does their stuff now. But they're doing individual albums as well. I really wish Kiss would have took that more seriously, like to do the more focus on the single albums. Like you said, the first album was a golden example of what they could have, focused on now, and there was so much material to be done. I don't look at it like we were spoiled, but I'll definitely say that the stuff that they did put out, like the Creatures box and Destroyer box, were fantastic. Like what was in there is great. I don't think that people complained about what they got in there, right? For me, it was a little bit outside of my price range, especially for the vinyl end of stuff.
Oh, people complain.
Yeah,
these are Kiss fans. We complain about everything.
But me being somebody who's somebody who doesn't really collect much of the other stuff, like like those little, like the 1977 pendant from the tour or something like that, like these kind of things that come with some of these box sets. I don't have some of these things, or the recreation of the press kits and stuff like that. I don't have any of these things. So for me, those things are like fantastic to have in a box set, and Kiss did that. I just wish they would have done it more on more records. I just wonder why that just never happens.
But you don't feel we were spoiled in the run-up with everything coming out, and then all of a sudden there's basically nothing other than the anniversary vinyl?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel that, I don't know if spoiled is the right word, because, is getting the anniversary vinyl really that getting spoiled? They look nice. I do admit that, and I have a lot of them, but the thing is, realistically, they're just the 2014s repressed in different colors, right? With better maybe album covers for the Hotter Than Hell. But spoiled, I don't know if that's such a great word. They are you telling me they couldn't have done more in this time period?
Lonnie, I don't know. I feel like things were. I don't feel like we were spoiled. I feel like things were on the right track for a fan base who always says, why don't they do this like Metallica does, or why don't they do this like this band does? You know, why can't we have this? Why can't? Hey,
Hey.
someone to talk some sense into this bunch.
Uh-oh. What I miss?
A voice of reason himself. But you know, I think that I don't think we were spoiled beforehand, but I think that Kiss was doing what we had finally wanted them to do, which is release these big box sets celebrating albums, release some off the soundboard type of stuff of some live shows. And then suddenly it was silenced, and there has been a void of that over the last year, obviously, and it's, you know, just kind of been a letdown. But you know, since Ken's here, I'm going to be hopeful that the future holds something that's gonna make up for this void, and that we're going to be rewarded in the coming year.
I know if one person can make us feel optimistic about Kiss in the future, it must be Ken, because he's the one who can think of 100,000
to make his appearance
that can be released by Kiss, and he can envision all of them happening by next month. So come on, Ken, set us on the right track here.
So, well, you guys talk about already about that video that they made.
We did.
Well, no,
Did you
we
watch
we,
both
tri-
the
we,
videos?
we tried to.
Low
You could
budget.
give better analysis to Mark and I, though, probably.
The low budget. It's like, why even do that video?
Oh.
I thought it was.
Oh, wow.
Ken bringing the positive. Which
Bringing
one
the
are
heat
you
now.
talking about? Are you talking about the Gene and Paul, greeting, or the end of the road recap video? Because I confuse these two.
Okay.
with,
The
not
recap
specifying.
video is okay. I think that's a kind of a promotion for the upcoming documentary. I think that they're supposed to have on that. So that one's okay. That even has the screwed up lyrics on Deuce that you like, Julian. I know that video. But the other one where they each like recorded off their own phones, I think. If they were together and recorded something together, I'd be a little bit more, as you say, optimistic about things. They're just separate. They're kind of like telling people that it's still lots of things to come, but they don't say anything, hints or anything. It's all we know is the Avatar thing. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of.
All right, so they are offering you a lifeline. They are putting some bait in the water in hopes to have Kiss fans nibbling at the prospect of something happening. And if you're following Kiss My Wax, if you're following other podcasts, you will know from some of the questions that are being asked that questions are being asked for a reason. For information at this time. Things are happening. But the problem with Kiss and business is that it's very hard to kind of detail things so far in advance, because things can change. And that's always been the problem with Kiss and some of the projects that take place. Nothing is actually finalized until very late in the process. So it's difficult to say, expect this or that. I mean, it's very easy to just say, the Kiss avatars are coming, because right now that's a very vacuous idea, a concept so broad. It's impossible to go into the other details, because I don't think at this point Pop House actually knows exactly what it's going to be doing. So,
well, hopefully the floodgates open next year with
That's a lot of money for not knowing what you're going to do.
Like
I know.
I think it was Alive was mentioned, 50th anniversary, and some other things that they missed the 50th on. There's plenty of stuff to do, but it's just a matter of them getting it done.
All right, Ken, let me ask you this then, to get you fully caught up on the conversation. A year has passed since the end of the road. Where do you sit as a Kiss fan today as you look back on the last year? I kind of, mentioned that it was a void, but I've come to terms with how the end of the road ended, and I'm positive about the future. What about you? Where are you at? You're the most reasonable of us.
Yes.
The only void for me is really the live version of Kiss, I think, because we have everything else that we can go back and listen to or watch that's been done already. So just the new kind of shows and things like that, where they would be on tour and that sort of thing, and maybe go see a show.
Hey, can you bump up your mic volume a little bit?
Oh, it's too low. See, last time was too
We'll find the Goldilocks zone eventually.
Little hot, eh?
It's too low, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do that. But I'll turn that gain.
Or you can turn the mic towards you, more closer to you.
I could try.
That usually makes it a bit better too.
Okay. I'll try to fix it when I'm not talking. But yeah, I don't know. I keep involved. I just got the Hotter Than Hell, vinyl, both editions. This beginning of the week, they showed up. Actually, I should have brought it out to show you, but yeah. So that's the normal thing, and I'm just hoping for them to continue to release the unreleased stuff that we know is pretty much it's out there. I guess at one period of time there was kind of like, seems like it was dead, kind of nothing going on, but that used to happen when they didn't tour for a while. Sometimes when they had those breaks, like early 2000s and stuff like that. If you it has that same kind of feeling as it does, to now.
Yeah, but basically after 2008, with the exception, I think, of 2017,
they were
every year.
That was a very long period of time that there was stuff going on. There were, obviously in that period, 2008 onwards, 2 studio albums, the Kiss cruises, so all the rare sets that were being performed, there were Gene Simmons' Vault, solo tour, Paul Stanley. Wait, no, that was 2006 and 7. But there was a lot going on in that last decade.
Tour after tour.
Yeah, but particularly when you kind of compare the end of Kiss's road to the end of other bands' roads. And that was one of the good threads on the FAQ about the end of the road is, while many of us are not overjoyed with the last show at the MSG, and this is a Town Tommy who posted this, I got thinking of how much worse Kiss could have ended its touring career. And they use the examples: Jane's Addiction, fist fights on stage, REO Speedwagon, Morphine. Their singer had a heart attack during a show. Well, yeah. What was Pantera? What was the Pantera band that that was horrendous? And Tiny Tim had a heart attack on stage. Nick Menza, and obviously Aerosmith. Aerosmith blew the vocal cords to shreds, and that was it, more than likely. So do you think we got a better end? Do we get a happier ending?
Well, looking at it that way, I mean, if you look at if you look at all the possible disasters that could have befallen a band, then we got a good ending. At least everybody's up and around and conscious and able to continue with their lives. So that's, of course, a plus in that way. But I mean, it's interesting that Ken comes on and the mood is so somber now after all this. It seems so, so calm and sedate now. I don't know if that was to do with your, maybe you're just in a different mood frame of mind right now. But, I think though that what Lonnie just mentioned though, and me and him were having a good chuckle over there, is something that actually now the more I think of it, it's kind of alarming to me. I mean, the whole thing that Lonnie said goes, these guys spend so much money on this, catalog of stuff, and now not having a clue, according to Julian, what to do with it. Who does that? Like, who goes in with a business approach like, I'm going to spend millions and dollars on this, and I don't have a clue what the hell I'm going to do with this stuff now? I mean,
The image.
most companies.
No, they know what they want to do with it, but it's 3-4 years down the road. It's what do they do with everything else that had to be bundled into the deal? Did they want any of the other stuff? And was it? We don't know enough about the business deal. Number one, we also don't know for a fact that they don't know what to do with it. It just feels that way, that they weren't ready to hit the ground running and take that baton immediately and go. And that means keep any projects that were in the pipeline moving rather than everything just seemingly having the brakes screamed on. So I don't want to make any assumptions that we know anything.
Okay,
about
but with that said, though, Julian, I mean, as a business person, wouldn't you think that would make more sense? I mean, you buy something and you wouldn't want to buy it now and then let the wheels drop off and lose complete interest of people. I would have thought that at least 6 months after the fact, they would have started with something, not nothing up to now. I mean, that's the thing that I feel that's kind of odd to me. Like I said, we don't know everything about it, but I don't know anybody who would ever approach it that way. That was just because they did have momentum at some point. Kiss, they were putting out stuff. There were those boxes came out, so people were interested still in it. Now it just seems like people are kind of like, okay, are we ever going to get anything again? I mean, there was that talk about the biopics and all this stuff that are supposed to be happening and stuff like that. And the scary thing is, you have a band like Led Zeppelin. They're putting out theirs. They just put out a trailer for becoming Led Zeppelin. It's funny that Led Zeppelin will get their official thing
That's
out.
Led Zeppelin, though.
But I mean, but that band's been out of commission for so long now. Like, I mean,
it's
come on, man. I mean, the Kiss thing. I don't know. Sorry, go on.
The nothing is frustrating. I'm with you, Mark. The nothing that we've seen the last year is frustrating. And to what Alex has said in the chat is that I'm surprised too. Where is the CD or Blu-ray to celebrate the final show?
Yeah.
It has been a year. I mean, actually, right now seems like the perfect time to put something like that out. Maybe a year later, before the holidays, before Christmas, you could put some stuff like that out to get people to buy it, to get people to give it to a Kiss fan as a gift for the holidays. But what are you waiting for? How long are we going to wait to get that? Are we going to wait till it's 3 years past? Like,
yeah,
it's going to be a thud if it comes out.
No, it's coming out with Kiss 2020 Goodbye as a deluxe box set.
Can't freaking wait. I guess we'll keep on waiting. I mean, and it's going to come out with a bonus disc.
No, it's coming with a bonus book called Magic.
And a bonus disc of Kobo 2009 that was supposed to be released too, that never came out.
And the Dubai show, maybe.
What about Monterey 2004, which they filmed for release?
I can't wait for all of these things.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I'm ready. Here's my wallet. Come on, where's?
But I guess it's the standard. I guess we should be used to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, by now, why are we complaining? We should be so used to it by now that why are we even bitching about it?
Ken, talk some sense into it.
Come on, yeah.
No,
Talk us back down.
Is my audio better at all?
Oh yeah, yeah. Your audio is good now.
Oh, good. I don't know. I think I clicked the setting last time and then screwed it up. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff they've lit. Like you said, we're used to them not doing things that we think they should do, that we think they would benefit from. Definitely make some money, and it's kind of surprising. But I said, that advertisement for the recap, I think is a precursor to the actual release of the documentary on the 50th or the whatever, not 50th, but the last 50 shows, I think, documentary that they were supposed to do. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff they need to do, but they're not worried about doing anything. But again, going back to that video, it just makes no sense to me at all. If you're just gonna say that kind of stuff, just I don't even know what triggered that, to tell you the truth. Them putting that video out about the, Gina, that there's, Gina Paul saying there's more to come and lots of stuff happening. Just make it happen. Don't tell us it's going to happen. Just do it. Put it out, or whatever it may be. I just
Throw us a freaking bone, Gene and Paul, is what.
Yeah,
what
no
Ken's
kidding,
doing.
They
man.
did.
Yeah,
they
that's
gave you
basically
a
it.
reminder to clean
It's
your
no
room.
bone. It sounds like a tease. It's a tease. Like, yeah, we're doing something. Well, okay.
Oh, seriously, shit's it's just a reminder to the Kiss Army. Keep the
We're
faith,
still here.
Kiss Army. Yeah,
Kiss is still here. Kiss is still alive.
There will be more shiny trinkets for you to buy, and that will lose half their value the moment you receive them with a ding corner. Don't worry.
Kiss fans have extra money in the bank because they haven't been able to just blow as much money in the last year. They're just waiting for Gene and Paul to put something out.
Yeah, so Jerry C. asked the question, I was wondering if customers were ever made whole on that Dubai issue. I was made whole. And, Mike Brunn did put out on his Rock and Roll Experience podcast, details on getting made whole back at the time. And many people did get in touch with the details that he provided or facilitated. You have to remember, he did interview Doc McGee. So I got made whole, and I've moved on from, Kiss 2020 goodbye and any rage. So some people did get made whole. Some people, posted on Facebook receiving boxes of things, and, they went through it, liking some items maybe and not liking others, But I think what happened was a best case scenario was they tried, and they didn't. Obviously, it makes no business sense to announce it on Kiss Online because then you'd have every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah. Exactly.
Julian, did Pop House reach out to you?
No.
Like our show.
Why the hell not?
Why would they need to?
Why not? They've reached out to other podcasters we've known, like Podcast Rock City.
But Ken, don't forget, even if they did reach out to Julian, he would never tell us because he's very good at keeping secrets like this. So
yeah, I don't see why why they would need a large group of people. And I know multiple people who have been in touch with Pop House. And some share information and some don't. I'm not worried. I have the FAQ, which is freely readable for anything. I put my thoughts out there on a weekly basis for free that people can listen to or not. I continue to work. I've got 3 books on the go. Obviously, I've got War Machine, which is sitting just trying to plug gaps. I've got Ace Book, which is monstrous. I actually showed it a proof to someone last night, and I think I blew their mind. And that's Ken Sharp and me who are working with Ace on that, and we've still got some things that we want to accomplish with that. So we've just hit the year marker working on it, and it's a 6-pound monster. It has so much minutia in it, you'll have seizures. And then there's the secret book, which is 104 pages in at this point. So I don't need to be reached out to. I'm busy enough as it is. I put all of my thoughts out there. We talk about things. People who come to me in the background and ask me things get answers. Always. And they may not like the answer. It may be, I don't know. But, if I am asked shit, I'll even if I may have been asked stuff by Pop House already. I have no idea. If someone asked me something and I gave an answer, I don't care. If there are fans who are getting to give input, then I'm a member of the Kiss Army, and that benefits me, and I celebrate it. I get to do a lot of really fun shit myself, so I'm not worrying about anyone else getting to have their 2 cents. Does that answer your question, Ken?
Yeah, well, if Pop House wants to get our input on things, they can
watch every episode for free.
They can go through one of our catalog of episodes and find some stuff that
we've done plenty of episodes. We've done
Yeah.
plenty of episodes saying that, hey, this is what I think they need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about some of it already today on what we think they are or aren't doing, and whether they're doing it right. So you don't need to get me on a phone. My time's expensive. I'm joking, by the way.
Hourly rate, yeah.
All right, so here is, I've just talked about 3 books that I'm working on. There was a great thread on the FAQ this week also about this was by a user called Fried Chicken. That makes me hungry. Who do you want another book from? Gene's done so many, it doesn't feel like any purpose of him doing one. Ace was a letdown. Yeah, wait till you read the new one. Paul Stanley, we don't need another self-help book. This person would like one from Peter now that he's made peace with it. But for all the people who've not done a book yet, who would be the one? If you were to say you are writing a book and you're not leaving this room until there's a book, Lonnie, who would be your pick?
My pick's Eric Singer. I think Eric would have some really good stories of his time pre-Kiss with Alice Cooper and Black Sabbath, which would fill a good first 50 to 100 pages. But then I think the Kiss stuff would be really interesting too. Not just him coming in, one doing the Paul Stanley solo tour in 89, starting there, and then coming in and doing Revenge, and how he felt coming in and filling that drummer role with what was going on with Eric Carr, or what had gone on with Eric Carr by the time the album had come out. And then being let go in 95, and how he felt about that. And then, going through, going back to Alice after that, and feel like, am I taking a step back? Am I not moving forward anymore? Am I moving backwards? And how he felt while those experiences were going on, and then being asked to join Kiss and put on the makeup. Oh wow, I'm back. I'm doing this. This is really wild and exciting. Only to be shunned again for Peter for the Symphony and Aerosmith tour. And I know Eric was very disappointed and highly upset when that happened. And I remember reading an interview of him saying, "I'll never work with Gene and Paul again." How he really felt slighted when that happened, and to only come back again a year or so later, and then finish out the next basically 20 years of the band from 2004 to 2023. I think Eric's book would be very it would have to, and at this point maybe you would get it because the touring Kiss is over.
Yeah.
Maybe you could really get an honest perspective of how Eric, it could really be if he really put some emotion into it. I think he has a great story to tell with being let go and coming back, and being let go and coming back, and how he felt after he was let go. Because here, a lot of us have been fired from jobs, but then to be fired from a job and then to come back to the same job is kind of would have to be a very weird feeling. So I think Eric's book would be. I think Eric has the best story to tell.
I think so.
Likely to see a book on watches from Eric than a book on the band.
Watches, great.
No, he's known to be a watch collector.
He is a watch guy.
That's
if Geddy Lee's done his book of basses, why doesn't Eric Singer do, his book of watches if he's got that sort of collection, or maybe he doesn't want people to know.
And Geddy's done a book on baseballs too, so there you go. There's another interesting facet. But if you don't mind me going next, one person I'd love to see do a book, but he's never done a book, much like how Lonnie said about Eric
Ross
Singer.
Ramley.
And I think, yeah, and I think Lonnie's point was really good about Eric Singer doing a book. I think that's a fantastic idea because everything that he said, I applaud 100% that if he put it in, it would be a great book. The other person I'd love to see do that is Tommy Thayer. I mean, here's a guy who went from, according to him, fetching coffee for Gene in the morning when he first got hired from him, when he stopped doing Black and Blue, to becoming, the Ace Frehley on stage for them, afterwards and makeup. So that journey from him just, doing pretty much nothing at the beginning and just helping Gene out with daily stuff here and there to that. And I'd also love to read all this, how his honest feelings about how he felt about the backlash and how he approached it, on his own, in the background, because I mean, obviously it probably did tick him off, to hear all this negative stuff instead of people saying, well, what the fuck, here's a guy who's playing the role now so that the band can continue, right? Why aren't they just happy about that? So I'd like to hear his perspective on that. And plus, he's done a lot of stuff. He helped him out at the Unplugged tour. He's helped him out with all kinds of different things, and he has good insight on that, where he could fill in a lot of the blanks that Gene's books and Paul's books are notorious for leaving out all of these sort of information that people might be interested in knowing about. So I think his book is definitely high on my list if he ever does one. But just like with Eric, I think as long as Gene and Paul are still walking planet Earth, how honest the books will be dependent, on that, I think.
Yeah, I agree with Tommy.
From Maxwell House to the Penthouse is what they can call it.
That's great. That's a good book.
Wow. Tommy's got a great rock and roll story to tell. I mean, it's almost like Rockstar if you think about it. So the guy, what's his name in Judas Priest? God, I can't even think of his name. Right now.
Ripper Owen.
Guitarist.
Ripper.
No, the guitarist as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Richie
Faulkner. Thank you.
Faulkner. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy toured with Aerosmith, opening for them with Black and Blue. So great stories there. He toured on both half of them getting kind of clean as well and detoxing, because they were mental cases for half the tour. They came out for a second leg and they were all on the Alkanon stuff, keeping them off the booze. So it was like touring with two different bands in the same year. And then obviously the experience working with Dieter Dierks, Scorpions producer, on the first Black and Blue album, working with Bruce Fairbairn on the second Black and Blue album, working with Gene Simmons on the third and fourth Black and Blue albums, working on the Doro project, Harlow, Shake the Faith. He did a lot with Mark Ferrari as well. And people are probably saying who to a lot of this shit, but and then he's out of the music business, and he does demos with Gene, writes with him, and puts together History, works on that, works at the business side of the band for the convention tour, works as a support staff. I mean, he's in the MTV rehearsals for anyone who's seen those, them imitating his walk, mocking him. So he's a part of the band, through all of that, and the reunion and Psycho Circus with Fairbairn again. So, and then obviously landing in the spaceman boots. He was not Ace Frehley on stage, never will be. He only portrayed the spaceman. And I'm very adamant about that. So I think he's got a good rock story, going back to Portland as well, before it was all about flannel up in the Northwest. So, Ken.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's too bad that Bill Coyne never wrote a book.
Or did he?
Or did he? Maybe he did.
Sitting in a safe for 50 years afterwards.
Oh, yeah. It's going to come out next year. Maybe that's it.
That's the Pop
cool.
House secret.
That would have been a good book, I'm sure. Interesting.
We have discovered his book.
Otherwise, I think, Bruce Kulick is one. He's been a little bit more feisty lately about things. And I think he may say something.
Bruce is getting positively salty of late, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So, I think Bruce has a lot. I like his write-ups about at least the music he made with Kiss and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all very interesting. Those details. I'm sure he has a lot of details of the band and how they work together and all that kind of stuff. So I think, that would be an interesting book too. And he may have some tidbits about his brother, what he's, at least what, Bob may have told him about working with Kiss too in there. So yeah, I wouldn't mind one from him.
Yeah, I think Bruce has plenty of stories. I mean, I'd be interested. Again, it's really weird because I would be interested in reading about him touring with George McRae, kind of emerging from a nobody to ending up in Meatloaf, of all things, and that
Yeah.
touring band. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really interesting, and I think Meatloaf worked the same scene as Treasure. Again, I would take books by any of them. I mean, if Paul did another book,
Yeah.
I'd buy it. Gene, I stopped buying his books. I did not buy Ladies in Waiting or
Oh, I got that.
Seven, or
Oh, you got that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah. I think the last one
Nice.
I don't
the
even
last
have
one I got
that
was
one.
Sex Money Kiss. You don't have it, kid.
I don't.
It's a proud purchase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
I
goodness.
would take it. If Peter did another one, I'd be interested in it. If Ace did, obviously the one with Ken and me. But if he did another one on his own, kind of another installment of No Regrets, I'd be down with that. Vinny is always talking about having had a book.
Mm.
I
He's
don't
had
know
an
whether
album
that's
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had it out, yeah.
He's had a lot of things.
But again, we have to
Vinny's
stay.
talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, but I think we had the best of Vinny in 2018, Lonnie.
Oh,
You
I
were
think
there.
so too. 100%.
That was the zenith.
100%. No one will get the experience like you and I got that weekend. No matter what he does moving forward, that was the best.
And I know some of the fans that did go to his parties in the studio had a good time and enjoyed the experience that they had at those events too.
Yeah.
But I think his days of commanding presence at any of these kind of mega expos, it'll be interesting to see how the KissFAQ Cancer Goodbye event goes this weekend, because I think that's a harbinger for the future. Do the indie expos come back? I think that's the biggest thing. A year on from the end of the road, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to commune with Kiss fans again at something.
That's what I was
probably
saying.
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing I think I miss today. And obviously hanging out with a Kiss buddy last night, just reminds me how much fun it is to get a group of Kiss fans together and celebrate that thing that brought us together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Some
I was saying that the other
Kiss
night. I was like,
conventions.
I really hope like the indie expo when that comes back,
Expos,
just an excuse to go on like a Kiss type of road trip and to see some of the people that from online, and just an excuse to get together and celebrate the band. I think that might be a really good. It might be really nice to have moving forward, hopefully.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I mean, I miss going to those as well. I mean, they had them here in Toronto area quite a lot, and I met a lot of Kiss people through those, of course, right? And, back in the day, that was so early, that was back collecting VHS, tapes back then. So, they're long overdue, in my opinion, back over my neck of the woods here. So, and I got gypped because the last time Kiss came to Toronto for the end of the road, they had to cancel because of Paul Stanley's sickness. Toronto was one of the dates that got knocked off the tour dates there. But it's one of those things that Julian always kind of makes mention of, is that this sort of thing is great for meeting up with people and meeting new friends, or hooking up with people you haven't talked to in a long time. So if anything, that's one of the main things I think we all miss about Kiss not being as active out there.
Yeah. So Neil Davis, a virtual toast to you for putting on a Kiss event in 2024. I hope it goes well and everyone has a great time. Alex, if you're still listening, say hi to Nigel for us. Have a great time. It's a year on, that's a year down. It's a year closer to the future. 2025 is, Christ, 25 days away, 26.
Yeah.
It is, the clock is ticking fast. So who knows what 2025 is going to bring us. I think we'll probably do a episode on what we hope it brings us, maybe our top 5 wants and demands for 2025 after suffering through 2024 as it was, but I miss gigs to a certain extent, but I don't miss gigs. I was supposed to go to LA Guns last Friday, but I was sick, so I had to bail out on that, and I didn't, didn't shed a tear. Wasp is going to be in the neighborhood next week, I think, and
That's
I
right.
can't be bothered to go to that other than it's in a really bad area.
Yeah.
I've still got reminders popping up on my phone for those Aerosmith shows that were all canceled, which are just like daggers in the heart. But there's like no Kiss event on my calendar. There's nothing yet. So maybe we can get this Ace book done. Maybe I can get War Machine done, and maybe it'll coincide. Either of those would coincide with an event, which would be you know kind of
Very
super
good.
exciting if things were to converge, or if other people's projects were also to converge with an event that I was able to go to. Again, the future's hopeful. That we're all healthy enough to enjoy it. That would probably be the key.
Right.
Any last thoughts? Or are we out of here? Dinner time.
I think that's it. I think.
I think we're good.
Well, that is it. I want to thank everyone who took the opportunity to join us today and chime in. You know, it's up to you to keep Kiss alive. The end of the road was only that. It wasn't the end of the story. Just fingers crossed that you like what the next chapter is. And if not, we'll talk about it here on the KissFAQ podcast. So for now, thanks for joining us. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.